Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now he wants to speak about 6 things which destroy bhakti. Even if we have a person who has this qualification and we want to take shelter of this person, it is very, very important that we try to avoid these 6 things in order to achieve the goal. He gave us 6 things we should try to avoid, overcome them. He's going to give 6 things which we should do, we should avoid also. The things we should avoid. 6 things which we should do in text 3. So he begins to explain. Atya hara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangasta lolyamcha sadviri bhaktiri vinashati sadviri bhaktiri vinasati. Once devotional service is spoiled, when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. Number 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. These are the 6 things. Ati ahara. Ati ahara. Overeating or collecting more funds than required. Rupa Goswami said it will affect our progress in Krishna consciousness. When a person becomes too attached to these things, it will affect our devotion. In history of Iskcon, we have seen so many big Sankirtan book distributors leaving the movement. We have seen big book distributors, really big ones. They have left this movement. Big engineers, were perfect managers. Devotees, Prabhupada actually appreciated as good managers leaving the movement. Why? What is happening? Not the lazy ones are living, but the big ones are living. Why? Over endeavoring. Over endeavoring and collecting. Take Kanpur Bhagavatam describes the status quo. We are struggling to maintain our position, not service. It's to maintain our position, which we have already acquired. To maintain that, we are by endeavoring. And because we don't know the boundaries, what is the boundary between that which is excess and that which is normal? We must know the boundary. When does our services to Krishna becomes a source of distraction? And instead of making progress, we are actually even giving up completely devotional service. Not even that we are still hanging around, but we have given up completely devotional service. When we look at the struggle the living entities are having in this material world, if you look at our struggles, the things we do every day, and look at the things which our body requires every day, do they correspond? They correspond? What do we need to maintain this body? And activities which we do every day, do they correspond? We should look at that. Mr. Papas talk about excess money, excess money. Does anyone ever has excess money? Have you ever seen someone with excess money? Excess. Can we find somebody who can say that I have excess money? Nobody. Nobody has excess. But if probably talking about excess money, give excess money in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, purport. So we're talking about giving excess money to Krishna, to build temple for Krishna. But we have not seen someone who has excess money. So what is excess? Excess money. If you want to calculate it, then we can look at it carefully. How much money it takes for us for a good meal a day? Like how much? Like have a good, nice person in a day. Like how much do you take in a day? 200 rupees. Okay, let's say 200 rupees. Good prasada, right? 200 rupees. That is for anybody, not just for devotees, for anybody. So how many hours do we work in a day? How many hours do people work in a day, normally? 8 to 10 hours for 200 rupees. 200 rupees. You work for 2 hours and for 10 hours? So how do you call that? What is that? Atiyahara. That's excess. So any money which we have more than 200 rupees is what? Excess money should be given to Krishna. If you don't do that, it's a burden. We're thieves. Stealing. It has effect in our practice. When we start taking shelter of money instead of Krishna, our devotion will be affected. Instead of taking shelter of Krishna, putting our faith in Krishna, we're taking shelter and putting faith in money as our protector, as our guard. It will affect our practice, our progress in Krishna consciousness. In Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya, who encourages devotee to eat, he encourages devotee, he serves Krishna 9% to people. At the same place, Chaitanya who warned Raghunath Das Goswami, don't eat luxurious food. Don't. Do not take luxurious food. That is sense gratification. Luxurious food, sense gratification. Rupa Goswami is saying that is vinasa, vinasa. Bhakti, it will destroy bhakti. So we're putting more of our energies into destructive, destructive things. The Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious life, it's an investment. Investment. What we invested much, our energy into, that's our future. Something we devote more time to, we give more attention to, or something which is a priority in our life. What is it that we give more attention to? Our 24 hours. Our 24 hours. What is it that we give more attention to? Chanting? Hearing? Preaching? We should analyze it, we should look at it. What is it we give much of our attention to every day? And we're going to do that for the rest of our life as a devotee. What is it that we give much attention to? It's an investment. The thing which we think more, which we remember more, which we like to do more, is our investment. That will produce results. So devotees who are very conscious, devotees who are really Krishna conscious, are not surprised about how things are going or things are working. So either we are becoming Krishna consciously successful, or we are not making much advancement in Krishna consciousness. It's not difficult. It's not difficult to understand. When we examine the activities which we give a priority to the whole day, the whole life, it's a future. Rupa Goswami, we want to build up our consciousness so we know where we should put much of our investment in. Because whatever we invested more, that is where we are going to gain more. If it is chanting, you are going to get more. If it is hearing Krishna consciousness or speaking Krishna Katha, we are going to gain more. If it is Krishna conscious activities or good association or motivating devotees Krishna consciously, it will tell in our success in Krishna consciousness. So Rupa Goswami is explaining, Ati Ahara, overeating, over collecting. Over means what? Greed. Greed is very dangerous in material life, material greed. There's spiritual greed. There is a spiritual greed. There is material greed. Spiritual greed is good. Is good. Bhakti Swami himself, he advised us to become spiritually greedy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described to be greedy. He's greedy for Krishna Prema. Wants to be greedy for Krishna Prema. That is wonderful. But the greed we're talking about is not the spiritual greed that one is forgiving, in foregoing. One is so busy in Krishna consciousness, in chanting and hearing and doing services that he has forgotten to eat, has forgotten to sleep, has forgotten everything. He is just 24 hours fixed. That is wonderful. That is our investment, and that should be the best investment. That's the best investment we should go into. That is wonderful. But we're looking at mundane greed. Mundane greed. Greed. A greedy person is never satisfied. Never. Greed does not satisfy. It continues to burn. Like when one adds fuel to fire, it burns. So we have so many greedy personalities who ruin their life, both materially and spiritually. In material life, so in spiritual life. So greedy. They destroy their life. Greed. Greed. But Gita mentioned that greed is one of the gates that leads to hell. Greed. A devotee should not be greedy. A devotee should be moderate. Chapter 6 of Gita talk about a yogi, right? A yogi should be moderate. Not too much, not too little. Should be moderate. Balance. Krishna consciousness is about balancing. Balancing the life. So Prabhupada said, human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. Plain living, high thinking. If one lives simple life, you have good intelligence. If one lives a flamboyant life, your intelligence will be low. The danger of sense gratification. We were speaking about how dangerous sense gratification is. Sense gratification is very dangerous. That it will take our self-interest away and leave us with empty life. We forget our self-interest and very, very attached to mundane things, which will not help us. So when we live a very sophisticated life, we will forget our real duty. So simple life will give us chance to think very high. Thinking very high means we think about Krishna, Krishna conscious activities. We think very high. Since all conditioned living beings are under the control of Lord's state energy, this material world is designed so that one is obliged to work. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has three main primary energies or potencies. The first is called Antaranga Shakti, or the internal potency. The second is called Tatastha Shakti, or the marginal potency. The third is called Bahiranga Shakti, or the external potency. The living entities constitute the marginal potency, and they are situated between the internal and external potencies. Beings subordinate are central as eternal servant to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Jivatmas, or atomic living entities, must remain under the control of either the internal or external potencies. When they are under the control of the internal potency, they display their natural constitutional activity, namely constant engagement in devotional service of the Lord. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita 9:13. Bahadmanas tumam partha devim prakitim ashitaha vajanti ananya manaso gatva bhutadim abhyayam. So we have two people here, Mahatma and Duratma. They are completely opposite. Mahatma and Duratma, they are different people. What's the difference between a Mahatma and Duratma? What's the difference? Both are human beings. Not that the Mahatma has two heads and Duratma has one. No, both of them has one head. So what's the difference? Or a difference between the devotee and non-devotee? What's the difference? What is the difference between the devotee and non-devotee? Hare Krishna devotee would distribute books, and so many book distributors all over the world. What's the difference? Very good. Very good. Something else? The Mahatma. Mahatma is selfless, selfish. Duratma is selfish. Mahatma is selfless. In Mahatma, he works 100%, fully, 10 hours also, like a Duratma. Both of them, they are working very hard. What is the difference? Mahatma is working for Krishna. Duratma is working for himself, for his senses. That's the difference. One is working for Krishna, one is working for the senses. They are doing the same thing, but their consciousness is different. They have a different consciousness. They have a different understanding. I'm a servant of Krishna, so my service is meant for Krishna's pleasure. That's a Mahatma. A Duratma, a crippled-minded person. Yes, I'm the Lord, so everything is about me. It's for me. It's a Duratma. So, the activities which we do in Krishna consciousness are being done by non-devotees. Non-devotees also do. We distribute books. There are also so many book distributors, so many bookshops everywhere. We cook also, so many cooks all over the world. The same. We eat everywhere in the world. All species of life, they eat. We sleep, they all sleep as well. Everything we do, so many people are doing even better. Do you know that the Mayavadis and personalists, they are more holistic than Hare Krishna devotees? Externally. They have more respect. Narayan, all of you are Narayan. They are very, very careful. They are all Narayan, so they have respect. Hare Krishna devotee, even if you call you Prabhu, I'll still insult you. But my people will not do that. Yeah, oh Narayan. So they will respect you as Narayan. They don't disturb you. But what is the difference? Krishna does not know them. Krishna knows his devotees. Because of our consciousness is connected with him. So Krishna knows. He knows the devotee. His devotees who are working for him. Therefore, he doesn't play with his devotees. He's very, very careful with his devotees. Only when a person gratifies the senses of the Supreme Lord can he be called a Mahatma or broad-minded person. It's a broad-minded person. When the individual jiva souls are under the control of the internal energy, their only engagement is the satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. This is the position of a Mahatma. If one is not a Mahatma, he is a Duratma or a crippled-minded person. Such mentally crippled Duratmas are put under the control of the Lord's external energy, Mahamaya. Indeed, all living entities within this material world are under the control of Mahamaya, whose business is to subject them to the influence of threefold miseries. At the Daivika Klesha, sufferings caused by the demigods, such as droughts, earthquakes, and storms. At the Bhautika Klesha, sufferings caused by other living entities like insects or enemies. And Adhyatmika Klesha, sufferings caused by one's own body and mind, such as mental and physical infirmities. Deva Bhutana Hitava. The conditioned soul subjected to these three miseries by the control of the external energy suffer various difficulties. The main problem confronting the conditioned soul is the repetition of birth, old age, disease, and death. In the material world, one has to work for the maintenance of the body and soul. But how can one perform such work in a way that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness? Everyone requires possessions such as good food grains, clothing, money, and other things necessary for the maintenance of the body. But one should not collect more than necessary for his actual basic needs. If this natural principle is followed, there will be no difficulty in maintaining the body. Everyone suffers in this material world because of greed. Narada Muni made an experiment by examining all species of life. All species of life. Narada Muni studied all. And his conclusion is that human beings are more miserable than other species of life. Why human beings are more miserable? We have more facilities. Human beings will have more facility than other living entities. But the human beings are more miserable than other living entities. Why? Why? Greed. Greed. We are greedy. So properly give example. According to nature's arrangement, living entities lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity of necessities. If a bag of rice is placed in a public place, Birds will come to eat a few grains and go away. A human being, however, will take away the whole bag. He will eat all his stomach can hold and then try to keep the rest in storage. According to scriptures, this collecting of more than necessary atyahara is prohibited. Now the entire world is suffering because of it, atyahara. Greed is making the whole world to suffer. We are collecting more than what is necessary for one person. One person is getting what 100 people can get. It goes to one person. Or even this day, more than what the whole world, the whole country can have. One person is collecting all. That is greed. We are getting what are meant for other living entities. That is greed. While people are suffering, looking for what to eat, some are eating and throwing food away. In all Hare Krishna temples, you have that. Have a lot of throw away. That is atyahara. We are disturbing the food which is meant for other people. It is said that every grain has the name of somebody inside. Every grain has a name of somebody. Huh? Is it not? So when we're taking more, it means what? We are depriving other people from their share. That is greed. And the world is suffering because of that. The whole world is suffering because of that. The greed of somebody. So devotees not be greedy. What does it mean? What does it mean? Devotees not be greedy. When food is available, we should consider that this food is not meant for me alone. It is for everybody. Even the people I'm not seeing now. Even the people I'm not seeing now, Krishna will send them. You need food, go to my temple there is food there. Krishna can send people here. When you see it, when Krishna sees that we are responsible, Krishna will send people. Send people, go there. I have food for you there. Go there, you get mercy. But when Krishna sends people here, somebody have eaten it and is suffering from constipation. You're going to spend money to treat that in the hospital. It's greed. It will affect our progress in Krishna consciousness. So we should be very conscious. We should be conscious of everything around us. Collecting and eating more than necessary also causes prayas. Prayas, or unnecessary endeavor, over endeavoring for mundane things which are difficult to obtain. Prayas. If your salary is 50,000 and you want to buy a car which is costing 10 million, What is that? Huh? Prayas. You have no work, you have no house, and you're getting married. What is that? How do you call that? Huh? Prayas. I met one devotee in Ghaziabad temple. Say devotee, Ghaziabad temple. Is he in India? On the Sunday field lecture, he asked me a question. He wants to get married. He has no money, he has no house, he has no work. He wants to get married. I said, so Prabhu, why do you want to get married? Where is your house? Where's the money? Where's the job? You have no job, you have no money, you have no house, want to get married. What is that? Yeah, endeavoring for something which is more than you, which is beyond you. You will destroy your devotion and destroy other people's devotion. It's prayers. So, civilized people say, cut your coat according to your size. You understand? Cut your coat according to your size. Oversize will not fit you, and undersize also will not fit you. If you cut it according to our size, it will fit us. We should try to live the life according to how our capacity is. A simple devotee who is not working, a devotee is not working, you are not getting any money, and you want to buy Galaxy X9. What is that? Prayas. What's the income? And if he eventually buys it, means what? If he eventually buys that, it means yes, it means greed, only greed. Is? You work hard, right? Yes? You should work hard. You should work hard to get it. That's okay. But my question was, if he's not working hard, even if he work hard, he's not going to get it by his nature. He's not going to get that. But he managed to get it. Yes, when we do that to get more money, what will happen to our bhakti? Yes, bhakti will be affected. Bhakti cannot grow in that way because that is not the process. We have gone the wrong way. And then most of the time you see devotees sacrifice the japa for other activities. Maybe I have more services to do, so I'm sacrificing my japa for that. That is pious. It's pious. You should try to understand what it means. The primary activity, we are neglecting that for secondary activities. We cannot have a perfect service if we don't have a good chanting. Good chanting means, good service, or services means you have a good chanting. If our japa is very good, our service will be very, very good. Japa is bad. All our activity will be very bad. Even if you do the whole service in the world, it will not be offerable. Our service will be offerable when our japa is very good, wonderful. So it becomes prayers if we are neglecting japa for something else. Or we are managing during japa time, we are managing during class time. It is prayers. It may look like devotional service, but to have a serious effect, negative effect in our practice. The Krishna consciousness is meant for those who are very, very intelligent. Not intelligent, but very, very intelligent. Very, very intelligent people. Very, very intelligent people do devotional service. That's what it means. That we can carefully understand what we're supposed to do and how to do them for ultimate results. That will bring us sufficient result. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if he has some land and a milk cow. There is no need for man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood. For one can produce food grains locally and get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Unfortunately, man has been given higher intelligence. Fortunately, man has been given higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, for the understanding of God, one's relationship with Him, and the ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized man, not caring for God realization, utilizes his intelligence to get more than necessary and simply eat to satisfy the tongue. It's a misuse of intelligence. Thus, factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, and liquor shops are opened. If people are advised not to collect too many goods, eat too much, or work unnecessarily to possess artificial amenities, they think they are being advised to return to a primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. That is their unfortunate position. Human life is meant for God realization, and the human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that this higher intelligence is meant to attain a higher state should follow the instructions of the Vedic literatures. By taking such instructions from higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and give real meaning to life.